Welcome back to the Victory Podcast. I'm your host, Steve McGrath, and this week I am pleased to bring you Davion Taylor. Now, we're still in that period leading up to the Senior Bowl, so we have another Senior Bowl-bound guest coming out of Colorado. He was there for 2 years. He was in JUCO for 2 years before that, and this is a guy that was only able to play 6 quarters of high school football. So he has this ridiculous story of how he was able to do that, get a workout at a JUCO, for him to then become the number one outside linebacker prospect. Teams now are fighting over him. He goes to Colorado and really blossoms. So I cannot wait for him to tell you his story. But before we get into that, I need to remind you all that we are brought to you by Team Builder. Now, Team Builder works with over 500 high school football programs nationwide, as well as the NFL. So if you have any needs for strength training information, please go to their website, use the promo code VICTORY, and you get a free 10-week spread off and strength training program. So go there, check them out, and give them some love. Now, with any further ado, here's my conversation with Davion Taylor. I am so pumped because right now on the line I have Davion Taylor. Davion, man, thanks for coming.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure.
Now, of course, you are going to be going to the Senior Bowl, which is just under 3 weeks away now. How did you even learn that you were going to get invited? How does that opportunity get presented to you? Does your coaches tell you?
Well, I knew I was on a watch list at the beginning of the season because they had posted a whole big watch list, and but I didn't let that get to my head or anything. I just continued just to play, take one game at a time. And then I can't remember what game it was, what week it was exact, but I just know it was in the middle of the season. The coach, one of the coaches, and it was follow me upstairs. And then we went to his office and everything. He was like, here you go, you just been invited to the Senior Bowl. And I didn't even know what to say. I was just speechless. I was like, already? I didn't expect to get it this early. And he was like, yeah, you made it through the first picks. And I was excited. I went on my way home. I just started calling everybody. Yeah, you got invited to the Senior Bowl. I was pumped. I just know I still have some work to do until then.
Yeah, right. But I can imagine you're kind of on cloud nine the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Now, it's time to unpack this, incredible journey that you had to get there, because you were not that 4-star, 5-star recruit that showed up and everyone was trying to get when you were a senior in high school. So let's walk this back. You only get to play in one high school football game, even though you're practicing with the team. It's because of religion. Really, your mother put you on a path where, because of her religious beliefs, she did not want you to play any activities Friday night all the way until Sunday morning. So here you are in a position where you're giving it all week in and week out, but you don't get a chance to play except for the one time your coach has got the exception for you to get on the field. So can you just talk us about, what was it like in high school? Because, of course, you're playing basketball as well. You're on track and field, and you're doing really well at it. But what was it like for you trying to really focus on football when you're not even getting a chance to even put anything on film?
It was kind of a wonderful story because I said, my 9th and 10th grade year, I played JV. My 11th grade year, I sat out completely from football, just trying to focus on track. And my 12th grade year, that's when I was like, I love football. I'm just tired of seeing how all my brothers talk about football and everybody just talking about it. So I was like, I'm gonna go to practice with them. And one of the coaches, when I came out there for summer football, he was like, wow, you're athletic. And then I just started doing good at practice, and that first game came around, and he was like, we have to make you play. We have to talk to your mother or something. So I was like, yeah, you can talk to her if you want to, but it didn't work for my brother, so I highly doubt it worked for me. And then we came around, and we saw that the sun was setting later because it was in the August, and it was setting around 7 or 8, and the game started at 6. So we talked to my mother. Was like, can I just play to halftime of the first game? And she agreed because she was like, okay, as long as you don't play past the sunset, he can be out there. So I played that first half, and I did incredible. I caught a pick, had a whole bunch of tackles, and the coach came in. He was like, yeah, we have to make you play the rest of this game. And then I was like, you could try to call my mother, but she's gonna say no. I know it. And then I don't to this day, he took the phone. He went in the back room. I don't know what he said. He just came back with mother said you can play. And I was like, really? I did not expect her to say yes to this. And then so I played the rest of the game. Finished good. And then next week I came back to school. Everybody was like, oh, I hope you get to play the rest of the season. You did great out there. We know you're gonna get recruited if you keep it up. And but I decided I was like, I'm not even gonna put that stress on my mother just because I know she wouldn't want me to play, and she said she felt bad with the first game and let me play. So I was like, okay. But I actually did play the second game. I played until halftime, the same thing, but I couldn't play after when the sun set. I had to make sure I sat out because I didn't want to break my mother's rules again. And I was like, at the end of the day, I know I'm going to try it at the next level and just go try it at a couple places. And I just for the rest of the season, I just continue to play, just practice. I meant to say, and just make sure I gave looks. Like if it was like the best on the team was a wide receiver, I played wide receiver. Was the best on the team was a quarterback, I played quarterback. I didn't throw anything. I just tried to run the ball, but like I just did things to help my team get better, even though I wasn't out there on Fridays.
And that's so cool, right? Because you're so dedicated to the cause that it didn't matter that you weren't playing. You're lining up anywhere that you need to give your team the best look. So like right off the bat, right, you have track and field. So obviously you're in great shape. You have great speed and athleticism. You're learning a whole different bunch of skill sets because you're lining up everywhere. I mean, you're getting all these things in place, but with 6 quarters of actual game footage. Just can you walk us through what it's like you just trying to get a workout at a community college?
Oh, like I remember I was trying out at places. I was sending emails to other people. I was like D1 colleges, like community colleges. Nobody wouldn't email me back. I tried out at like Southwest Community College. It's like a community college right down the road from us. They said they weren't looking for no more players. I went up the road and they wasn't looking for no players or anything. But and then I had went like that. I just really just gave. I was like, no, I just go to Southwest, like the close college, and I'll just like go to school and just try it again next year. But then like just now about a year, just stop like trying out. One of my coaches called me, my high school coaches called me in his office, was like, Coahoma is having a tryout. Do you want to go? But it was on a Friday, and I was like, I can't do it on Friday because of the religion. Like, could we call up there and just see if I can come Thursday, come an early day, just try out? So I went out there and I tried out and everything. They looked at me, it was like, oh, I like that. They saw me run around and everything. I was like, okay, come for like preferred walk on, come for the summer. And that summer, it was so many people that tried out. Like it was probably like 200 and something walk-ons. And like I did not think they moved my position from safety because I played safety in high school. So they moved me from safety to outside linebacker. And when they did that, I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know what an A gap, B gap is. So I'm not going to do good. I'm not about to make this team. And then it came down to like the final cuts. It was like 3 of us left. And like he called us 3 of us in the office. It was like, I'm only gonna pick up one of y'all. Like y'all have 1 more week to prove yourself. So I went in my room and everything. Like since I've been religious, I prayed, I cried. Like I was like, God, if it's not for me, like I understand I'm not gonna make the team. But if it's meant for me, like let me make this team. Like let me like just progress. And that week, and actually, I think like 2 or 3 I think all 3 of us ended up making the team because somebody got hurt, like somebody ended up quitting. So like we all 3 ended up making the team, and the story just goes on from there.
And it certainly does, right? But I mean, just to this point alone, for you to have not quit and be so dedicated, I mean, you've already put in more work than most kids are willing to just to, get to that point. It's insane. But I mean, your hard work pays off, your belief pays off, and, very quickly, right? Just that freshman year, you end up starting the last 3 games, I believe. And,
Mm-hmm.
at this time too, is it your freshman year at JUCO? I believe you're running track there. I mean, is that when you ran a 10-6 100-yard?
Yeah, I did. In freshman year, I ran 10-6.
Yeah. So right off the bat, right, even if you're not on the field, you're sticking
Mm-hmm.
with that track and field route, and that's ultimately what leads to what? Is it Coach Els that ultimately gets
Yeah,
wind of this athlete down in Coahoma?
yeah. There's that. He just called me. He was telling me, it was like I think I was like 215 at the time, like 215 running a 10-6. Like we need him. Like and I remember him calling me. I was in the library at the time. I still remember to this day. But I was in the library. He called me. I walked down. He was like, "Yeah, we're offering you a scholarship, a full scholarship to Colorado." I was like, for real?" Like, cause like it was my first Power 5 offer. Like I had like a D1 AA offer, but like Power 5 was my dream. Like get a Power 5 offer. And when I got that offer, I was like, really? Like, all right, I'm committing. Like I want to come. And he was like, all right, we'll set you up for an official visit. Like, even though I committed, he was like, yeah, we never had nobody commit like the first day we offered him. But like, I was like, you just don't understand. Like, this is like one of the like greatest moments of my life. And like, it's like a dream come true. And like, I went out on the visit and everything, and I loved it out there. And then I just had a great season after that. And like, it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask, right? Because at this point, it's just 3 games. You're still obviously learning. Like you're not even getting that much time to really get out there and play against, in live action. But you get the offer just based off of what they've seen. They know the track and field experience. So walk me through this sophomore year, because by the end of your second year at JUCO, you're the number one outside linebacker recruit in the country.
Hmm.
You have what, at least 15 offers? How
Yeah,
hard, and maybe it wasn't hard at all, but how hard was it for you to stick the course with Colorado regardless of everything else that was happening?
I
You
think it
had
was.
to you had to think about some of the other
Yeah,
offers.
it was. I say it was hard because I actually had the opportunity to come out there after my freshman season. I could have came out there in July because I qualified out of high school, so I could have came out there. But I was like, no, like I want to stay this extra season. I want to help my team get better. Like I was about to be a team captain that year. So I was like, I want to get better. But he was like, it's gonna be hard to hold on to you because more offers gonna come. Like all this gonna happen. Like they believe me. I was like, you're gonna have a breakout season. And I was like, okay, yeah, I understand that, but like I really want to stay here another year. But like, now, when I think about it now, I kind of wish I would have came an extra year, like get another step ahead. But like at the end of the day, it all worked out. But like when I started doing good, like the game by game, like I just started like the recruiting coach, he'll come in, I was like, you got an offer. Then he'll come, you got another offer. Like you'll call another. I was like, wow, I didn't expect like they just start coming. Like every time coaches just calling me, like DMing me, like we want like let's offer me scholarships, and I was like, okay, like I don't know what to do now. Like, should I go? Because like it came up with like, oh, Miss, they wanted me bad. Because then like everybody, and I had people in my ear family was like, oh, stay in Mississippi, that way we can come to games and all that. And then, but I
Right.
was like, okay, at the end of the day, it's my decision. Like I can't have other people like in my ears. And like one reason why I chose Colorado was because like I feel like while I was at Coahoma, I had made a name for myself up there. And I was like, if I went to Ole Miss, a lot of fans would have already knew me. Like a lot of people from Mississippi would have already knew me. So I want to go to Colorado, like to start over, like no distractions, like that's why I just make sure I focus and work even harder to earn my positions and everything, and just make a name for myself up there. And like that's what I ended up doing because like if I would have stayed in Mississippi, I would have got distracted with like family, like my
Sure.
something going on at home. I probably went back home, try to go back home fast as I can. But by me being up here, I have to like for one, it helped me to become like just growing up as an adult and like just learning lessons and just like being away from home, like not being like all up under my mother or anything.
Yeah, you definitely took the hard road, right? To completely cut away from everything else and start fresh. I mean, I'm sure, at least to this point, right? I can't imagine it have gone better in the 2 years since then. But I wanted to ask you, right? So you get to Colorado and you immediately become a contributor. So how did you? Because there's two things going on, right? Obviously, there's a jump in competition. You went to a Power Five school. You're playing in the Pac-12. So what was it like for you adjusting to that new level of talent, but also trying to continue to learn this position that you're still so new at? I mean, most guys by the time they're a junior in college, they've played for like most of them like 7, 8 years, going back to midget football. So how did you just continue to work to get better at your position while also the speed of the game must be kind of going,
Yeah.
really just cranking up?
It was going a lot faster. Like a lot of things. One thing I was trying to do is just like make sure I stay focused, stay in my playbook. But it was difficult. I started to doubt myself because like I was like these people. Like I was playing against athletes that probably that was better than me. Like and I had to learn. And I was like, okay, I have to compete to earn my spot for one, and I have to compete like against other teams that the wide receiver might be better than me. But I have to like learn how to do this technique right so I can so he won't beat me. So like it was just the little things I was trying to fix. Just on working on my technique, and then like the playbook was a main thing because like I still at the beginning of the season I still felt slow because like I felt I was moving slow because everything was going so fast. I still remember the first game in Colorado State when I got in, like yeah, I was nervous, and then like and I the big like the stadium like all the crowd yelling, and then like everything it was just like I don't know, it was just all in my ear, all in my head. Like I remember the first play I got in, I forgot to play. Like I didn't even know what to do. I was up in there just hopping around. But like as the season went on, I started to get faster. Like when I started learning what I was doing, I was like, okay, I can play faster now. I don't have to think. I can just run. Like I know what I'm doing, and like just also by me just being in my playbook and just like practicing all the time. That year they knew that I know that much football, so they took time out to teach me like the technique. They took the time out to teach me the playbook, like teach me like even like coming out of JUCO, like I still knew like a little thing about linebacker, but it was still like a lot more than know because he wanted another level. Playbook probably was like this, like way thicker than JUCO playbooks, and like it was so many plays I had to learn. But like as I was just learning, like they took it slow. They had made sure they taught me. Like if I didn't get something like that practice, they was like come up to me like, all right, you gotta do this, you gotta read this foot, read that. So like it was a little simple thing that helped me as my junior season went on. And like it just helped me become a better player throughout my whole junior season.
Oh yeah, and I mean, even through your senior season, I would imagine
Yeah.
there's still so much that you're trying to add to it because it's just, again, it's, not your fault, but it's inexperience. So you're getting better. And I think you said that going into your senior year, you're gonna have to be doing a lot more coverage. So I wanted to ask you, what did you find more difficult, in your senior year, working more, in space and coverage, or was it learning more like that pass rush, attacking sort of mindset and skill set? Because coming from safety, I'd imagine that you weren't doing as much of that until you moved to linebacker. So, what did you find most difficult? And, if you could, what's like one good tip that you would give to like a young athlete that's trying to, go through maybe a similar thing?
Yeah. Well, like one thing about me was one thing about this senior season, I worked out with the safeties more this year, and that really helped me in coverage. But like coverage is probably like one thing like I struggled with all like my 4 years, and I'm still struggling to this day. I'm trying to work on my technique because like I feel like you make one mistake in coverage, like it can be a touchdown. Like you don't have no safety help, you can be a touchdown. And, like when it comes to pass rush, you might miss a lane or something. You have like linebackers and safeties like just take the quarterback break out. So like just being working out with the safeties helped me a lot. Like playing a linebacker, even like it was like a outside linebacker slash safety, it helped me a lot because like these receivers in the Pac-12 are quick. They're shifty. Like one little move and like it can be gone. So it's just like working on my technique. And then like I was like just going like talking to somebody younger than me. Just I would say the small thing, just small technique, just looking at the hip, or just like make sure like when the obviously break down, you break down. Like them simple things really help because like when I used to cover as a like my junior year compared to my junior year I always just look up like at his face or something. I would just look dead in his eyes and like and sometimes they'll get me. They're like they can look this way and I go this way. So like, that's not get me. But like looking at them hips was the main thing I try to focus on this year and it helped me a lot in coverage. Like it's still mistakes I still make here and there, but like little like things I'm trying to fix. One thing I tell you, if I want to tell like a younger DB or a younger linebacker, like holding tight ends and everything, just them hips tell you everything. Like, and if you like you get your footwork right and you get them get your hips right, and like it can help you cover mostly anything, anybody.
That's awesome. Now, it sounds like you're kind of hard on yourself. It seems like you're really, I wouldn't say down on your,
Yeah.
past coverage, but I mean, how do you sort of toe that line? Because it feels like you're being a little hard on yourself, but also I'm sure you're holding yourself to this high expectation where you're trying to learn everything and be good at it. But of course, there's going to be a learning curve. So,
Mm-hmm.
in general, do you feel like, your senior year went the way that you wanted to? Did you make the progress you thought you would?
Oh yeah, I did because like when like even though I had to hold slots, like when I hold a tight end, like as a linebacker, I know I'm gonna have to hold tight end and running back in the next at the next level. Like at the so like when I held like a tight end or a running back, I made sure like I like my coverage, I probably have like a 90 or above mostly every game. So like I'd say I improved dramatically in coverage. Uh Holding slot receivers, like I it was like more like 75, 55. I did I think 75, 25, like I did most of my part. Like I did great. But like I said, I still have improving to do. But when I had to hold a tight end or a running back, like it was way easier just because like at practice I had to hold slot receivers. At practice I had to hold like this guy. I had to hold KD like sometimes. So like by me competing against those like probably some of the best receivers in the nation, when I had to go against a tight end, it was so much easier because they run routes slower. They're not as fast. They may be stronger than the regular receiver, but by them like being like a little slower, like I can read and read like faster than them. Like I can read so much better. And like that's why I said like this senior season, I think I have met my expectations when it came to that. But like I still, like I said, I still hold myself high because I didn't play high school football, like I know I have so much room to improve. Because like there's like you said, like there's dudes that have been playing since like 7 to 8 years who's like still way ahead of me. And like that's why I'm trying to work like extra hard so I can just when I get there I can be right on their level.
Oh yeah, but I mean, listen, I watched the Oregon tape that you put up earlier today, and I mean, like the speed jumps off the table, and I'm sure that that's what everyone sees, right? It's just like your ability to fly to the ball, and I mean, normally we see that in receivers,
Yeah.
not linebackers, let alone
Yeah.
defensive backs. But you mentioned a name, so you actually, in practice, you're going to be covering Laviska, who we don't know yet, of course, but I mean, could easily be a first round pick. How much did that help you just up your game? Because I mean, he's, as you said, one of the best in the country. What was it about, maybe him specifically that sort of allowed you to sort of take your game to the next level?
There's one thing about him, he compete every single day. Like, he barely at the slot, but when he is at the slot, like, he'll talk to me like, all right, I'm about to get you now. Like, he'll talk to me like, we'll compete every day. And sometimes they get me, and sometimes I'll get him. So like by him going hard every day, it made me go harder. And like he's just such an athlete. And like I don't think I have covered anybody else as good as him. Like, they're not as like a slot or a tight end receiver. Like, probably outside is different, but like, by him being so like physical, so fast, so quick, like he have all the aspects to make a great receiver, and like that just made me a greater like linebacker at the end of the day, because he go hard, he go like when he in that practice, he go 100%. He's gonna try to run you over, he's trying to shake you, so he's gonna do everything like he do in the game. He do that at practice, and like that just helps me like at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like iron sharpens iron, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it gets everyone better. Um, that's awesome. But I did want to ask. We talked a lot about football, right? From everything I've read, you're a really good student, and you're a psych major. You have a minor in leadership studies. Do you have goals? Anything in particular that you at least want to share right now for what you want to do outside of football? Because of course, as an athlete, eventually one day, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it's a
Yeah.
long time from now, you're going to have to be able to do something else.
Well, like one thing I want to be when I get older is like be a motivational speaker and a life coach. And like about that psychology major, I'm trying to focus on social psychology, like understanding people. But like about me being a motivational speaker, I just want to go like to speak to the youth mostly, like just encourage them. Like just because like people may say, 'cause I still remember my high school principal, like one thing he told us, he was like, yeah, he was asking everybody like, which I want to be when I grow up. He was like you might not be that, you're not gonna be that, you're not gonna be that. Just because like our town and the way it's just structured, like people probably barely come out. So like, I just want to go down and be like, yeah, you can make it out. Like it's like you just have to try and just have to like want it. Like it's all just about just like wanting it and just like pushing for your goals, because at the end of the day, like if you go and like just push for your goals, you can make it. Like you try hard and like put like all distractions aside, and I just know like this is my main goal. Like I'm gonna try, even if I don't make it, I'm gonna try my hardest, put 100. And even like you know that you put 100% in it, you're gonna feel great about yourself, because you know you didn't hold anything back. So like it's like going to the NFL, like being a doctor, like as long as you know that you're going 100%, like just to do like to get there, like you should feel like great about yourself. And that's all I want to go do, just to like speak to the youth, like at different schools, like in my community, like around the world, like everywhere, just encouraging them, like try to reach your goals. Like it can happen, like if you just stay focused and just like believe, have faith, like if they're like religious or whatever, like it can happen. And like that's what I want to do. And like as a life coach, I just want to go back home, like, and like some of the football players, like I want to be able to like just like coach, like coaching about life, like just not trying to be like trying to stay home, trying to be with mama or whatever. Like sometimes you have to branch out. Like I want to tell like people back at home, like branch out of Mississippi. Like Mississippi is a great state. That's where I'm from. I'm not gonna put down my state, but at the end of the day, if you want to be successful, you have to go branch out. You have to go to different places. Like that's the only way you can just you can be successful. I feel.
Oh, absolutely. You got to be uncomfortable. Or, I'm sorry, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You got to continue to push
Yeah.
that envelope. And I mean, just with what you've done now, you could do that. So let alone what the future holds for you, which I'm sure is just going to
Mm-hmm.
bring you to, higher and higher, places where everyone's going to hear your message one way or another.
Yeah.
Um, but all right, man, as we get closer to the end here, I just want to put in my GM hat real quick. I got a couple questions that I think maybe you might hear something along the same lines
Okay.
of in the next couple months as you work through the Senior Bowl, possibly the combine, and let alone the draft. So, David, I want to know, how do you stay focused, right, when your team's going through a down year? Because I know Colorado, you guys had expectations to be better than 3-6 this year, but of course, that's not how things played out. So how do you keep, your mind right when the team's going through a tough time?
I try to like just like take one game at a time. At the end of the day, like you go into the game thinking you're like 0-0. Then you win a game, you 1-0. You lose a game, 0-1. Like that's how you got to think about it. Every one game at a time. If you focus on your record, like, cause I remember my like our junior season, we was 5-0, and then like we kept losing game after game, and like it's just I feel like the team just started thinking about like you lost the game, like yeah we're not that good, like we lost this sorry team, like we like that team we thought was sorry or whatever. But like I was like, yeah, you gotta take a game at a time, because you take a game at a time, like that's how you win. Because this is our senior year. That's one thing Coach Tucker was always telling us: we lose one game, you're 24 hours to pout or like celebrate. And then after that, when that Sunday hit, the next meeting hit, you start focus on the next team. You focus on like whoever the next opponent. You like studying film. You're like already in the playbook. You're already watching the film on that game. So I just feel like that's one thing like I try to do, just stay focus on the next team. Don't worry about like the loss. If I did bad again, don't worry about that. Just do better next game. Just focus on the next game, because like at the end of the day, you cannot do anything about the past.
Love it. Now, I only got one more question for you while I have my GM hat on, and that is, to this point, right? And of course, you're such a raw athlete. You're continuing to get better and better. But for right now, what would you say is your biggest strength on the field and your biggest weakness?
Biggest strength is speed. Like just running down like backs. Like nobody's gonna get outside of me. Like a running back trying to run outside, he's not gonna get outside of me, because like I have the speed to run side on the sideline, and I feel like like nobody will be able to get outside of me. One of my weaknesses is pass rushing. Like one thing, because there's been an outside linebacker, I know I'm gonna come out the edge sometimes, then I have to learn how to pass rush, because like linemen in the NFL are gonna be way like gonna be better than like any line I'm probably facing in the Pac-12. So one thing I'm going to work on like this offseason is like pass rushing, and like I'm trying to get it better in coverage. But that's one weakness I know I have, is pass rush.
All right, fair enough. All right, now that was the hard stuff. Let's end this for real on the easy stuff, because we have the little thing we call the gauntlet here, and I need to know, what do you feel is most important? Is it the number one offense or having the number one defense?
Me personally, number one defense. The reason why is at the end of the day, if you have number one defense, save you. Because I remember we played Utah, our first half, 3 and outs every single time, and we got our offense the ball. And you give the offense the ball, even if they're not scoring, like you 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, the offense is going to eventually do something with the ball. So like, but having the number one defense, when you can't, when the offense, the opponent's offense cannot do anything, like you're going to win the game.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Now, which would you prefer? Have a pick six or go strip sack, fumble recovery, touchdown?
Strip sack. Because you're getting 2 things in one. You're getting touchdown and you're getting the sack.
All right.
Gonna count as a sack, but you're gonna get the script fumble.
Fair enough. Now, this is a little vague here, but if you can just fast forward in your mind, 6, 8, 10 months, who's the one person that you either have to line up against or line up with where it's going to sink in and be like, oh man, this is real. I'm actually playing against this person here. Who's that one guy in the NFL?
If I'm still playing a position like a Southside linebacker / safety, I have to cover slots. It's got to be Tyreek Hill, just because like he's blazing fast, and like I know I'm fast too, but that's gonna be an opponent. Like I know they like to see him on goals, so like if I have to cover him, I know I'm how to get back a little bit, and it's just gonna be a foot race. And we're gonna see the battle of the cheetahs.
I don't know what every outside linebacker's 100-yard dash is in the NFL, but I have to imagine 10-6 right there at the top. If anyone can do it, you're going to be right there at the top of that list. So what's your favorite football memory to date?
To this day, I'm trying to think. You put me on the spot right there. Had to be probably the Nebraska game when I got the big hit on tight end. Like when they had threw it out there. Like I remember that was really the beginning of my great senior season, like of my big hits and everything. So I was saying, I remember I read it like a book. I knew it was coming out on film. They did it, lining them up as like number 3. Then he like hit a little bubble, like flared out, throwing the ball, and I was reading like a book. I was like 10 yards off. When they threw the ball, I just triggered. And though I didn't look, when he caught the ball, I just triggered. And I just blasted him up.
Love it. No, the last one, and I think it's the most important one, considering everything you've gone through to get to this point, what is the single best piece of advice that you would give to a young athlete that looks at you and your story?
Never give up on your dream. Like never, because at the end of the day, if you I've seen movies, and I will actually watch the Brian Banks movie while I was home. Like he was like 20-something years old. Like he didn't give up on his dream. He ended up making it in the NFL. He's telling. That's why at the end of the day, I said just never give up on your dream. Like you want to be a doctor, you can be a doctor when you're 60 years old. So like you probably can't play in the NFL when you're 60 years old, but just never giving up on your dream. Even it's just like I said, giving 100% and just never giving up.
I love it. Well, Davion, your story is ridiculous enough for you to have gone from not being able to get on the field in high school except for 6 quarters to getting invited to the Senior Bowl. I can only imagine what's about to come in the next couple months, let alone the years afterwards. I can't wait to see it all unfold. Thank you so much for taking the time tonight.
All right. Thank you.